Hello friends, happy Monday. In math, it is finally time to talk about time. So before we left school, we had been working with these clocks a little bit during morning meeting, but we hadn't really started talking about them a lot during math yet. And so today we are going to talk about the different parts of a clock. We're going to talk about some different clocks that you might see around your house. And then we're going to start talking about how to tell time to the hour. So this is going to be a pretty short math lesson today because we're going to be talking about time all week long. But to start, what do you notice about this clock? I want you to take just a second and I want you to tell the person who's sitting with you, or you can tell the screen, what you notice about the clock. I noticed that there are some big red numbers, and I know that it goes from 1 to 12. I also noticed these two things that move right here. We're going to talk about what those are. So this part of the clock is called a face. So the whole clock, the surface, is called the face of the clock, okay? So these big red numbers, they help us know what hour it is. So you get to school at 8 o'clock. We get out of school at 3 o'clock. And so the 8 and the 3, that helps tell us what hour it is. So let's count to see how many hours we have on our clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 different hour options on our clock. And tomorrow we're going to talk about why there are only 12 hour options, but there are more than 12 hours in a day. Hold on to that thought because we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Okay, this red and this blue thing, those are called hands. What do you notice about the hands on the clock? Are they the same? No, what's different about them? The blue one is long and the red one is short. So the short hand tells us the hour. So if it is pointing to the 7, that means that we're on the 7th hour. So it would be 7 o'clock. The minute hand tells us how many minutes have gone by in that hour. So before we left school, when we first started talking about clocks, I had to sit through a whole minute so that we would know how long a minute really felt like. Okay, there are 60 minutes in a whole hour. Do you see these little tick marks right here, the little dots that are in between? So those are counting the minutes that have gone by in the hour. So if I have it right up at the top, if the minute hand is pointing straight up to the top of the clock at the 12, that means that no minutes have gone by in that hour. So when we tell time to the hour, we would say 7 o'clock. Okay, 7 o'clock because no minutes have gone by in that hour. But as the minute hand goes around, and it goes clockwise, so it goes to the 1, 2, 3, it goes all the way around going this way. Instead of counting by the red numbers like the hour hand uses, it counts these little tick marks. And if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each section is 5 minutes. So let's go around the clock with our minute hand. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. That means 60 minutes have gone by. It's been a whole hour. So now instead of 7 o'clock, it is 8 o'clock. So we're going to sing a clock song to help us remember which hand tells us which information. Are you ready? All right, here we go. I'm a smaller hour hand. and short and stout. I tell the hour without a doubt. I'm a longer minute hand, big and tall. I tell the minute and that's all. So the short hand tells what hour we're on. The blue hand tells how many minutes have gone by in that hour, okay? So this kind of clock, like the clock that we have in our classroom that we use when you're asking me how long until lunch or how long until recess, this is the kind of clock that we have. It is called an analog clock. Can you say that word with me? Analog clock. So the kind of clock that you might have on your computer or on your phone is called a digital clock, and it shows the time like this. So let's look at the analog clock and try to figure out what time it is showing. So we need to look at the hour hand first. So our hour hand is the short one, and it is pointing at the 3, okay? So the minute hand is going to tell us how many minutes have gone by in that hour. It's pointing straight up, and straight up means that no minutes have gone by in that hour, so that means it's going to be an o'clock time. So this clock is showing 3 o'clock, and here's how I would write it, 3 o'clock. An o'clock is just telling me that it's a new hour. I'm telling time to the hour. Now this is the way that your phone, that your grown-up's phone or your tablet might be showing 3 o'clock. So we have the hour first, then we have the colon. We talked a little bit about the colon. It separates things. 3, colon. Why do you think we have those zeros there? Well, we know that if the minute hand is pointing straight up in the air, that means that no minutes have gone by in that hour yet. So that means 0 minutes have passed by. So 3 o'clock is how you would read that digital time, because it's 3 and no minutes have gone by in that hour. So here's the challenge that I have for you. I want you to look around your house. I want you to see how many clocks you can find in your house. You can look at your grown-up's phone. You can look in the kitchen. I think that you can find some clocks in the kitchen. And I want you to just look all around your house and see how many different clocks can you find. Are most of them digital, or are they analog? Do they have the face? Also on Seesaw, I put up a website for you to go to where you can look at a clock, you can play with the clock, and you can practice making some of those o'clock times that we were talking about in morning meeting. So there's nothing to turn in on Seesaw today, but I do want you to go to the website so that you can practice with the clock, since we don't have our little yellow clocks to use right now, okay? So tomorrow we're going to talk about some different things that we do at different times of the day. We're going to talk about how many hours we have in our day and how we can use a clock to help us with that. And so we're going to be talking about time all week long. Have a great day, friends. Can't wait to keep talking about time with you. Bye.